Oh yeah.
I love that.
We're in the business space, so
Yes,
you know
exactly.
we're keeping it concise.
I'm gonna sit somewhere where it's not cold, so I'm gonna sit over here.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
cold
little
up there.
See, I can turn this down a little bit too.
Or you could turn it down.
Yeah, I got you,
Either
boo.
one.
I'm gonna turn it off if you guys get
You want
hot.
to sit up here and I'll sit here and we can sit beside each other?
Oh, sure, sounds good.
Let me see.
And I have a lot more if you want some of that. Mineral water.
Oh, you just got the comfy one. That's okay. This is a comfy one too.
Oh, you just made it comfy? Thank you.
Can't tell if this is shutting. I think it's shutting.
It's here. No closure.
This doesn't work. Okay.
Oh, well, I don't feel it as much. Well, I'm not over there either.
Yeah, it's probably right under it.
Oh, I can put it up. Okay. I guess I can't turn it off. I can just put it up. All right, ladies. How we doing?
Great.
I'm so excited for today. I'm so happy to share with you some of the concepts that I find really, really potent, really powerful. You both know me, but I'm going to give just a quick high level, my background, and why I'm here today. So first and foremost, I am Ali Kavosi, and you may know me from the Girl Gang here in Tulum. I started growing up in New York, went to college in New York, upstate, small town living. Then I graduated college, I moved to New York City, and I had my first corporate job, and I was working for a company called ADP, Automatic Data Processing. It was all about human resources, human capital management, very exciting, I know. And I did that for 8 years. And I started in sales. I was very successful early on. In my first year, right after my first year, I was already making 6 figures. So I had a really strong start in my corporate career. I moved up the corporate ladder to another division of sales, like a higher level sales. And then from there, I moved into corporate sales training. In my corporate sales training role, I was teaching people across the country how to do the job, how to sell. I was motivating them, I was guiding them, I was coaching them, I was supporting them in building a business without the liability, right? Because that's essentially what sales is. And was in this space, coaching, I think in my whole career was a little over 2,000 people. So after I left ADP, I obviously went backpacking, as you both know. I think I told you, for about a year and a half, just to explore myself, my life. What is it that makes me feel alive? What is it that I care about? I did some yoga teacher trainings. I did some tantra trainings. I studied Spanish. I went and explored different cultures. One of the best educations you can ever have for yourself. And then that led me to Tulum, where I laid my nest and called it home. And love, oh, do we have someone joining?
Yeah.
Hello. Hi, nice to meet you. Come have a seat. We're just getting started. So this is where I called home, and this is where I started my entrepreneurship journey. I did a little bit throughout traveling, but this is really where I took root and put the pedal to the metal for entrepreneurship. And in the last couple of years, I've built a couple different businesses. I run the Tulum Girl Gang, which has got 7,500 plus women. And today's conversation is all about conscious leadership. Okay? Before we jump into the actual topic, I want to hear from you guys. I want you to just introduce yourself, how long you've been in Tulum for, and how long you plan on being here for, and why did you choose to come here today?
Okay, I'll start. My name is Tanya Jueves Martinez. I just thought about this today. I've been here 6 months. It feels like an eon, but it also feels really fast at the same time. And how long I plan to be here? Honestly, in Mexico, I definitely want to plant roots like indefinitely, like infinitely, and then see where it takes me. It may be some land here, some land in different parts, but definitely planting roots.
Hi guys, come on in. Just to catch you up to speed, we're just introducing ourselves. Yeah, come grab a seat right in the front row. We are sharing who we are, how long we've been in Tulum for, how long we plan on staying for, and what brought you to this workshop.
And what brought me to this workshop is I am in the midst of creating a new platform, and I kind of figure out what those leadership skills. I mean, just any kind of tools, anything I can learn on the way
Yeah.
is very exciting because I want to be a different CEO than the CEO I work for.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
you know, like he's amazing. He's a serial entrepreneur, but just, you know, I want to definitely be the face of the company and talk for the company rather than it be, you know, let other people do it. So
Yeah.
anyway, so that's kind of what I want.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Beautiful.
Hi, I'm Cynthia St. Pierre, and I arrived in Tulum almost 2 months ago. I did not know I was coming to Tulum. I had ended up in the Baja, California for 2.5 years after I ran away from home from Virginia. And I was there for 2.5 years, and then at the last minute, Spirit told me I was going to travel across mainland Mexico, and so my friend came and I said, I'm going back to Mexico to Tulum with you because that's where I guess where I'm going. I had no idea I was coming to Tulum. Actually, I put resumes out all over Mexico, and one person from Tulum said, I'm really interested in what you have, and I got here, and then now it took me a little bit of adjusting coming from the Baja, but then I realized I'm here for a reason, and now I know why, and Tulum will be my home. I mean, I don't see, I finally get to stop my journey of being a vagabond, me and my dog and my 2 suitcases, and I finally get to stop, and it's here in Tulum, so right outside of Tulum. And so I'm here, and I also know that what I've been given, the gifts that I've been given, I can't do it by myself. This is some powerful shit that I've been getting downloads on, cleared my abundance blockages, and within 24 hours had the job of a light, you know, just the most friggin' amazing job ever be offered to me. And so now I know that I need to be also helping people. I know I'm a leader, so I know this is kind of something I do, but it's also, I'm going to be teaching this. I'm going to have to teach people how to do this, you know, because it's healing people like that.
Yeah.
So I want to help people learn how to do it.
Beautiful. I love it. Thank you for
So
sharing.
I'm here.
All right.
Hi guys. Well, my name is Renata. I'm from Brazil, and I left Brazil 9 years ago because I wanted to travel. So I've been living in many countries, always doing like temporary jobs, like work for 3-6 months, save some cash, travel. And then 2020 was very challenging because I was in my comfort zone of, you know, already have different jobs in some countries, but was always related with hospitality service, and 2020 was very like challenging. And then I start a new kind of road, and I've done a course of Theta Healing, and I start to go to another journey that I definitely like I didn't expect to. So I've been more connected with my spirituality and I start to working with that. And then in 2020, I went back to Ibiza, to London, but barely saved any money. And then when I was in London, they announced a lockdown before Christmas. And I didn't want to stay there because they didn't know when was going to open again. And my heart was telling me, go to Tulum, you know. It's been like a while I wanted to come here. I've been here, but just traveling, but never lived here. So I just followed the intuition. I came here. And so before, I was working as a shop girl in Ibiza, in London, and in US as well. And then the person I was working for, she became my business partner. So we started the agents here, all shop girls. But I think especially like this year and the end of the year was very like, you know, I'm a Taurus, I like stability, and it was really crazy, you know. I lost a lot of stability, everything I was putting my energy wasn't moving forward, didn't work out. And I think it was a wake-up call to like really connect again with the Theta Healing side. So I start to like put my intention for this year, really like go to meet people and network outside of the bar areas, you know, like the hospitality service side. So that's why I'm here. I want to network with different leaders and I want to make different connections.
Yeah. And I'm curious, when you were going through those challenges, did you notice an impact on your organization with your employees, with what you were building?
Just for you to have an idea, last year I was having collaborations in Cancun, Playa del Carmen, and Tulum. I went for traveling and I wanted to stop all the operations in September and October. So when I came back in November, I was like, okay, let's go back to the collaborations, start to work again. Cancun and Playa didn't happen. Tulum, everything was like on and off. And in January, it changed the administration of my main collaboration here. And literally, I had nothing. Out of suddenly, I had no bars to collaborate with. Then I had all these girls, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. So it was really, really tough.
Yeah.
But I had like to really reconnect with myself and like, what can I do? Because some stuff is not in your power
Yeah.
to make a decision.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've gone back again to those places, but now I have a different mindset. That's why I really wanna like still carry on with the agents of shots, but I wanted to grow my other side as well. So I want to network with different people.
Yeah. Well, the beautiful thing about it is it's all interconnected, right? Like you notice things are going haywire with yourself, and all of a sudden shit is going haywire in your business. That's not a coincidence,
I know.
right?
I know.
And the path of this whole process is repetition. It's a habit, and it's a rewiring of the brain, and then that will trickle into all areas of our life, including our business, which is one of the things we're going to be diving into today.
And I think like if you just focus like I'm losing, you go down the hill. But if you focus like, okay, what can I do now then? Where should I, like what doors should I open,
Yep.
So that's why, yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Gabby.
Hi, I'm Gabby. I came to Tulum like 2 years ago, 2 and a bit. Two of my girlfriends moved here and then I came to visit them on holiday. Fell in love with it and then went home, quit my job and then moved out here. I had a fitness and nutrition business, but I niched into people with eating disorders because I used to have eating disorders. And it's quite a hard sell to tell people that they have disordered eating. So business wasn't going too well, and then started like booking tables and stuff and doing a bit of concierge work, and then we started a business together, but then went separate ways, and then yeah. But I just thought it's always good to meet like different entrepreneurs, even if it's a different like industry. It's always good to hear different stories and like build from other people's like either not failures but like learnings and successes, and then just build on that.
Beautiful. Okay, so you came here to connect, network, learn from other perspectives.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right.
How you doing? So I'm Kyle. I moved here 3 years ago.
Okay.
I was kind of traveling everywhere. So I have a VIP services business. I've worked in VIP services for almost about a decade and a half, probably around this time.
Yeah.
I moved here because I was actually in Turkey getting my hair done, and then this whole pandemic thing happened. So I came back to make sure my mother was okay.
Yeah.
And then I realized things weren't as big as they have been made out to be.
Yeah.
So I had already started a business before I moved to Europe, and I was kind of building it through contacts there. And then I saw this opportunity, and I wasn't going to wait around anymore, so I came here.
Nice.
Yeah, so I've been doing it for quite a while now, and still learning. It's a different market as a VIP goes to a concierge. It's a different concept.
Yep.
But it's good. So yeah, we just came here to see what the people are getting into and where we can make connections.
Beautiful. And why this workshop?
That's why. To see what other people are doing and what connections we can make. And
Beautiful.
I always think that everybody has something for you. If you know it or they don't know it either, they have something that you could use and you need and something to propel you forward.
Yeah.
There's always more information.
That's powerful and really well said. And I think that leads me to my next point, which I think is one of the most important points to start with. And in this space, in this workshop, it's making a decision, it's making a choice to operate from a place of curiosity. One of the best things we can do as a conscious leader is to always operate from that lens. It's really easy to be like, yeah, I know that. Oh, I've heard that already. And it's also really easy for people to get confused with, oh, I already know that, versus, am I actually doing that? Am I actually applying that in my life and showing up in that way, right? So the things we're going to talk about today, they're not rocket science. It's not brand new information. But it's information that if we take it and we apply it in our life, it can make drastic changes, not only in our personal life, but in our businesses, in all of the above, okay? The one thing that I always think about and always keep top of mind is how you do one thing is how you do everything. Has anyone ever heard this before?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
I think like the daily little choices you make is also how you go to other projects.
Yeah.
So like, just something that doesn't have much importance than other big things.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah. Okay, what else? What else do you think it means? How you do one thing is how you do everything. What do you think?
Yeah.
Possibly?
It's like, if you're organized in your day-to-day life, you're organized in your business as well.
Yeah.
Because your habits that you have from one thing are the same habits you're going to apply to something else.
Yeah.
It's just human nature.
Yeah.
The way you are is reflecting everything.
Yeah, those little habits that you have, the blind spots that you have that you don't even realize are there, those things are sabotaging you in other areas as well, right? The things you're showing up and doing well, like staying organized, that's showing up in other areas of your life and supporting you in thriving. It's easy to be like, oh yeah, I'm organized. That's an easy one, right? Because that's easily in our awareness. But what about the stuff that isn't? And those are the things that we need to uncover and identify, create the awareness around it so that we can use repetition and habit to consciously start shifting. And in that conscious shift, that's where the magic happens, because that's how we level up and step into a space of being our best version. Now, how does this relate to conscious leadership? We're going to get there, but first I'm going to have you stand up. I'm going to put a little bit of music on, and I'm going to tell you why after, but I just want everyone to just shake it out a little bit. Okay? Breaking things. We're not bringing her back here. All right, now start to really move, okay? Shake it out. Really start to move. You can dance to the music if you want, but I want you to just flow with it and go with it. Okay, is this your 50%, 60%, 70%? Where are you? Because if you're at 50%, wherever you are, I want you to go 20% harder. 20% harder. All right, 20% harder. Come on. You're like, I did not sign up for an exercise class. What the hell is happening? All right, 20% harder. Come on. Let's go. All right, you're good. Take a seat.
We got a picture.
All right. Why did I have you just do that?
To show,
Huh?
See how flexible we are?
Maybe.
to show you us when we thought we were putting something into it and we thought we were putting it in, we could take it 20% higher. And then when we thought we were putting in 20%, we could take it even higher.
There's always more to do, right?
There's always more to do. Yeah. Right? There's that next level, and we didn't even necessarily have the awareness, oh, I could do more. Oh, I could do more. Beautiful point. What else? Why else did I have you do that?
Make people comfortable.
Hmm?
Make people comfortable with the crowd, maybe?
Or uncomfortable.
I want you to reflect on how you felt when I said to get up and dance and to start moving. What came up for you?
Comfort zone.
Comfort zone. Okay. Pattern, right? Where else in your life are you playing in your comfort zone? What else? What else did you notice about yourself in that exercise? You didn't even know you were doing it. That was an exercise. It was an actual exercise. There was a point and you had no idea. What else came up for you? What did you experience? What judgments did you have? Were you like, what the hell? Like, was anyone like, what the hell? Why are we doing this? Yes, maybe? Yeah, right? Think about that, right? So quick to fall into judgment versus curiosity. Why are we doing this? There actually is a reason outside of even just what I'm sharing right now. Right? This level of awareness is what allows us to step into that next level of leadership. Because how we show up as a leader is going to trickle down into all the areas of our life, whether it be our business, whether it be our organization, whether it be leading in our relationships. And these are patterns. We have these emotional homes, these homes that we always constantly go back to and see a lens through that space. And everything funnels through that lens. Now, there was an actual physiological reason why I had you do that. Movement is a helpful tool to help you remember things more easily. You get the body moving, that gets your energy flowing. Your energy starts flowing more. There's studies show that it will actually allow you to retain more information. It also wakes you up. Okay? So that is why I had you do that. Any takeaways from this exercise? Any takeaways about yourself? Gabby, what were your takeaways?
It's just that there's always something a little bit more that you can do.
Yeah,
Like with that 20%. you
yeah,
know, like with the dancing, and you're like,
yeah,
it's embarrassing, but then you can still just,
yeah,
like push through out of your comfort zone even further.
yeah. And there's an awareness, right? There was that level of, I'm embarrassed. Oh my God, I just told my boyfriend to come to this workshop. I told him it was going to be great. Now she's got us dancing. Oh my God, I'm mortified, right? So where else is that showing up in your life? Where else might you be playing small because you don't want to be embarrassed? You don't want to look bad. And now is that holding you back from stepping into greater levels of leadership in your life, right? Tanya, what were you going to say?
I was just gonna say, back to the flexibility, just seeing like how rigid or flexible I am in being asked to surrender right now and just be like, okay, just go and do more. And I'm like, well, who are you?
Yeah.
That immediately was like, not questioning like the curiosity part you were saying.
Yeah.
Wait, there must be a reason here.
Yeah.
Trust.
Yeah. And this is what I was talking about earlier, right? It's that curiosity. What golden nuggets? It might be one thing. You might think this whole workshop is bullshit, but there might be one thing, and that one thing could change your life. And that is why we want to operate from that place of curiosity. It's looking for those little golden nuggets that are going to make the change and the shift that support our growth. We don't know what that's going to lead to, right? All right. So the purpose of this workshop, we're talking about conscious leadership. What is conscious leadership? What is it? What do you guys think?
Being aware of the type of leader you're going to be.
Conscious leadership is a style of leadership, and it 1000% requires awareness.
Yeah, taking responsibility for what goes on as a conscious leader. You know, if someone messes something up, you didn't give them the right directions. You know, there's always something, you should have prepped them more, you should have done something more, and having that responsibility for yourself
Yeah.
as the leader.
Yes. Radical responsibility. Any burners in here? No? Good. I'm retired from the burn. Radical responsibility, right? Taking responsibility, taking that ownership. Has anyone ever worked for a leader who was like, oh my God, something went wrong, that's your fault. Oh, something went right. Yeah, that was me. You're welcome. Right? Has anyone experienced a leader like that? That's not an example of conscious leadership, right? What else? What else is conscious leadership?
Leading from a place of authenticity, because they're aware of the work that they had to do, and they put it in. You can't help somebody or tell somebody to do something when you haven't done it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't heal somebody when you got that same thing you gotta heal inside you. So it's the same thing in leadership. You really have to go in and it comes from within and then it comes out. You do the work inside so you can shine on the outside. You can't shine on the outside till you shine on the inside.
Yeah. Inside out job.
Mm-hmm.
And then it trickles down.
Mm-hmm.
And it will make an impact on everything around you, on everybody around you. It's a ripple. Right? You ever meet those people in life? They're shining. They're on fire. You can feel their energy. They're alive. They're showing up. They're looking out for other people. They're the wow factor. Do you find them inspiring? You want to be around them? You like working for those types of leaders? Right?
Synergy.
Yeah. What else? Any other thoughts come to mind? Oh, I think we got some chicken wings here.
I think for me, it showed me a lot of my shadow that I didn't want to work with because in the beginning, like you said, you want to point fingers and stuff. And with the Theta Healing was really like a tool for me to see some beliefs that wasn't mine. So for example, my mom, she never made compliments to me. She was always like criticizing me, you know. So I really had to heal our relationship in order to don't do this to people. Because for me, it was like when I had out of Sunday when I arrived here and I had like a lot of girls working for me and I didn't know how to deal with that, you know. So I had like really to don't be this general telling what to do, what not to do, you know, because in the beginning I felt I was like that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's been really like a journey of like, oh my God, how I can operate this without being stressed, you know, without taking things personally. And I think especially like looking to this shadow that I had because of my relationship with my mom, you know, so that was, it's still like a challenge, but it's getting better now, so
That's great.
thanks.
So anything else? Anything else that comes to mind under conscious leadership? Ultimately, it's just leading from a place of awareness, right? Looking out for other people, positive impact. What part of your life are you contributing to making a difference, to helping people, to supporting people? Maybe it's the environment, right? Integrity, compassion, empathy. And yeah, these are all buzzwords in Tulum, right, in the spiritual community. But again, it's the difference between I know this and actually being.
And I think as well, like, how can I be better? Because sometimes we know, but we know with our beliefs, you know? And I think that's, for me, is the big challenge.
Yeah.
Trying to look from an outsider place.
Yeah. Yep. And this is a challenge, and we're actually going to be talking about this. We're going to be moving, and we're going to be talking about 3 different principles today that you'll leave with actually action items and how to work with these 3 principles. Okay. We'll jump into the first one, but first, before we do, I just want to ask one question. We're going to break into partners. We'll do 3 and 2. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2. And I just want you to communicate with each other. We'll take like a minute each. What is 1, 2, 3? Sorry, couldn't see you back there for a second. What does conscious leadership mean to you? Okay. What does conscious leadership mean to you? So go ahead. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
You know that? We met the other day I think it was Nicoletas, remember, like, with Shawnee.
Yes.
In their house, like, yeah, because I remember I get your contact.
Yes. I know this one.
delegate,
are not our
telling
employees,
people
but
what to
they're
do,
people
what to
who
do.
work with us.
And showing them that
So
you show up
okay,
and
you
do
went
it.
through that one, they don't
You're
work.
working with them.
Get something
You're
you
working
need
with
to
them
do.
together.
What
We're,
fits you,
we're
what's
all
okay.
in this
Not just
together
price
as a
point
team, not just
What
being,
makes sense for your
I'm sitting up
client
here on the
base, what you're
dictator
looking
throne
forward
and
to
telling you what to do, because then you become a harsh leader and nobody wants to work with you. But when you get down there and get dirty with them, when you get right there and you're right there with them, then they're like, I'll work with her because she don't mind getting, or he don't mind getting dirty with us, you know, or doing the work. It's all becomes one. It's no separation.
Yeah,
There's that
you know,
conscious
did
leader
they
is
need
become
more
one with the
information?
team.
Did they
It's
need,
not,
Yeah.
he is not
did they,
going to be
you know, did they
separate.
need better training for something? It's conscious leadership.
Yeah. And also like with that empathy piece, like
For me, I believe
I mean, we all
conscious
go through
leadership
shit and
requires a lot of
we don't
patience
always sharpen our best selves in kind of public
themselves
experiences.
and
Or like
others,
not
and
necessarily
Yeah.
employees, like people that you work with.
and with that
You know,
listening,
realizing that,
possibly even
you know, giving
showing
someone a
up
task should not be
exactly
a
what
punishment.
the other person
You know,
has said,
you
like not
give
just
someone
like
a task they
listening,
can handle.
like not just hearing, but
You did this wrong,
listening
okay, now you do this today.
and
That's just
being
punishing someone, that's how
transparent,
you lose
like
people. That's how you're working against
not
you, not for you, not
kind of
with you.
putting this wall between
Yeah, I think like
employee. I mean, yes, there is some
business
boundaries,
partners
obviously,
should be
but
doing this
some
for so many
transparency
years,
around like
but
who you
should
are.
they
Like it
go,
took
should they,
me to
you know,
know
the
a little
responsibility
bit about
Yeah.
my boss after
and
7 years.
it's
After 7 years, I was
challenging
like, oh my,
sometimes
I mean,
to
it,
make decisions, you know, what we're gonna
things
do
that just
towards
didn't
the
come up or whatever,
situation.
but it's just
In the
fascinating.
beginning, I
Like,
just
wow, I
take
didn't
a
know
lot
who
of
this
to
person
me,
is.
so like
Way more than I
personal and
thought.
being
And it would have been nice
stressed.
to.
So
Now
now
they
I
feel
found
I've
out
changed a
a
lot
little
of
interview
the
he did with some
situation.
spotlight, you know, some
As
CEO
like
spotlight, and
how
he's
can
like,
I
please
make
come,
a
I need your help,
decision
and I need you
without
here, and
being like,
whatever.
you know,
And I was like,
activating my, how do you say,
it was totally fine, but it would have been
the
nice to
triggers,
just have
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
yeah.
because I had so many
transparency
triggers,
and
like
communication of
I
like,
would
I don't know,
be
in general,
so
just like, I feel
stressed,
like
and
They
sometimes
be
I'm like,
more real.
more real. That's what I'm saying.
They're real. They're not.
I'm more of
This
a
person over there, that's the boss. There's a connection, and you see their realness.
and I think like the game changer for me as well was
The team.
operating from
Not just be the
not
boss.
like
Well, no, he is part of the team, but in
people
terms of
are
like
gonna do
some
things
level of
wrong
like,
and I have to punish
I don't
them.
know,
Yeah,
realness,
yeah.
realness,
That's
authenticity.
my
Going back to
business
what you were saying.
partner.
Bob.
She
Yeah, yeah.
has business all in other countries and we do distribution in Mexico. For me, it was always trying to look at, okay, how can we do this with a different energy? You know, because even when she was recruiting, she was sending some message of like what the girls could do, what should they not do, and it was very like aggressive. So I was like, wow, we need to start to
And encourage
recruit in
them.
a
I think
different way.
I think a lot of times we
Since
feel
from the
like
beginning,
people are just
you
gonna go
have
off and
a different kind
I don't
of
know,
people.
just do their job and go home or whatever. It's nice
but
to
yeah,
encourage
it's
people,
like,
just reward people,
I think
just
as a
make them feel seen.
this is
That's what I said
something
about
like
listening, like
it
really
really shows
listening
me in
and saying,
January.
hey, how was your
I
day?
don't
And
want
really
this to
listening
be
and saying,
something
oh wow, like
sort
and
of
be
income,
engaged
you know,
rather
Okay.
so
than
the
this
guys
kind of
are
like,
concerned
you
as
know what I
well.
mean? Like
But I
I
start to
feel
do
like a
other
lot of people
things,
want
but
that
I
in their
really
jobs.
wanna
They want to be
to
seen
operate
Mhm.
and
in a
valued
different
and
way,
like,
you
oh,
know, with
nice.
different
People
kind
are
of
just like, hey,
people.
as long as
Yeah,
you're part of
yeah.
the KPI
Yeah.
and you're following right into like, you know, you're coming on time or whatever, it's just enough. Rather than allowing
Yeah,
them
they're
to
like conscious and I think like
do more, you know what I mean? Like just what other projects would you like to do?
I think
You know,
conscious, I think,
besides
is
this
being
one
aware.
task?
You
Is
know,
there any other
being aware
areas?
too that
Just
Learn
open
to
that
be,
up.
teach them to be a
affects
team,
affects
working,
Yeah.
everybody
how it
working
affects
together
relationships
Yeah.
as
with
one,
people, you know.
because that's when you become powerful. You know,
Yeah, for me,
five
it
chords
comes
is stronger than
it
three
comes
chords,
to
and three
really
chords is
take
stronger
the
than one or two,
moment
so
and think
just keeping
from a
everybody
place
together
where
in that
it's not
conscious
linked
mindset
to
of being one with each other.
your limits
And
beliefs.
compassion,
Because
like I'm done with
sometimes
my job,
you
my
start
friend
to
over here is
repeat
still
all
working on
these
theirs.
same
Let me jump
actions,
up and
you
go
know,
help
the
them so
way
they
you
can get
make
done sooner.
decisions, the
Instead
way
of saying, I
you
got my
talk
job
to
done,
your
I'm not doing their job.
employees is like,
It's those thoughts
you
of
know,
just
how
moving
can
everybody
you
together more one.
approach in a different way that is more conscious, but like also,
30 more seconds.
I don't know.
it's like yeah. It's like
When you're
you have to self-aware for that.
All right, we'll take the 30 seconds and take
Yeah,
a
I
5
mean,
minutes.
it's yeah. I mean, I've worked with people
And
and
more than
you know,
You
when
have
I
to tell us how you like to
What'd you get?
They change the
Couple of
leadership and
Oh la la.
the power and when
Okay,
they
go,
corrupt and
go.
everything, and I stopped giving a
Almost
shit.
looks like it's not real.
And I just
All right, we're gonna jump back in. All right. So, what did we come up with? Takeaways from your session? Mini sessions.
Different ideas,
Different ideas, okay.
things.
Different ideas and things.
Or-
Got it.
I meant to say different ideas and different ways of looking at things.
Okay, beautiful. We haven't heard from you in the back.
Yeah, I think, I mean, as she was saying, we have different points of view, but at the same time, they were all like interconnecting somehow to the same point.
What does conscious leadership mean to you?
For me, it's to understand the responsibility what that comes along to have a role or being a leader. A lot of people are relying on you, or someone is relying on you, and then you have to be aware of that. You have to be conscious about that your decisions, your ways of talking, of leading, of do affect your team or the people that are surround you. So I think for me that's conscious leadership, like to be aware of what it comes along.
Yep. Yeah.
And I think from that, you have to start by looking at yourself first.
Bingo. Bingo. Nailed it, Gabby. Yes. It all starts here. And that's what these principles are about. Starting here. Which leads us to our first principle. It's called living above the line versus living below the line. And this is going to be a very easy way for you to start checking in with yourself to strengthen your awareness around how you are showing up as a human and as a leader. Okay? So, above the line. What do you think might be some examples of living above the line? What do you think I mean by that? Any guesses?
Exceptional, being
Yeah.
being working at
Being
your
the
fullest
best.
potential.
Yep. Yep, for sure.
Being
Thought-
the best team player on the team,
Yep.
being by example.
Yep. Thoughts and behaviors are operating from a place of excellence, operating from a place of service, optimal ways of being, right? What else? You mentioned it earlier, taking responsibility for our thoughts, our emotions, our actions, right? What's happening in our organization. You're the leader. You are the one who's manning the ship. If something's going wrong in the organization, even let's just say an employee makes a mistake, or they keep messing up, and it's not whose fault is it, right? Whose responsibility is that, truly?
I think it's not just who is the fault, it's like how to fix it. Because sometimes you just focus on point fingers.
Exactly.
It's like, that's not the right focus.
Yeah. How easy is it to be like, it's your fault? You're to blame. Especially get the emotions in. Get the emotions in there, right? It happened to me today. I have a VA, and he sent out some messages. I have a Botox business here. One of my businesses is a Botox business. And he's sending messages out for follow-up being like, how was your Botox? Spelling Botox, Bottox. I'm like, we are a Botox company. Wait, fix that, right? It would be so easy for me to be like, what is wrong with you? You know how to spell Botox. You're working for me for how long? You're just spelling Botox with 2 T's, right? But whose responsibility is that? Whether it be, A, that I need to replace him because he's not doing the job in the way that it needs to be done, or there's a gap in how I'm training him. It's my responsibility. And when I start operating from a place of, it's my responsibility, I take my power back.
Can you, you know, you said about the organization.
Mm-hmm.
Could that even be like just yourself?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to expand on why?
No, I mean, I was thinking from the place of us, like for what we do for work, you know, it's like the responsibility, and you do it all the time, you know, something wasn't served right, okay, we show up, we go, we get to the bottom, find a solution. So that's another thing, you know, like, oh, they messed up on that with the birthday cake, we showed up, you know, let's run it back and do it again. So it's also that same responsibility. Okay, that got messed up, even though it's not an employee, how can I rectify that?
Yeah.
How can I create solutions for these problems?
But I mean, even like, so today, like, I dropped the ball because I forgot to send this thing to somebody.
QR,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know, I could blame everybody, but actually, I dropped the ball.
Yeah.
And what is it that I did that I need to then rectify that I don't drop the ball next time?
Yeah. And it's operating from a place of conscious leadership is, okay, I dropped the ball.
Yeah.
I'm not going to beat myself up over it. How many times have you beaten yourself up and really given it to yourself for making a mistake, right? We are human. Conscious leadership is saying, okay, I made an error. What are the steps I'm taking to resolve this error? How am I showing up through the process?
Yeah.
Right? Like if you're being a jerk to somebody else, if you're being a jerk to yourself, that's not it. And so we go back to the first point that I mentioned, one of the most important points. In these situations, how do we operate from a place of curiosity versus judgment? And you can even be playful about it, right? With my employee, we'll go back to, or my VA, we'll go back to that example. I'll be honest, like, I wanted to be like, what the F is wrong with you, right? Like, I was at a level like 7 of like frustration. But instead of like taking it out on this guy, I stepped into a place of curiosity and I got on the phone with him and I walked him through the steps to fix the solution, get it sorted. And then I stepped into a space of, okay, let's talk about what's going on here. I just want to understand, like, where are you coming from right now? Like, is this an issue with English not being your first language? If it's not, it's okay. There's solutions that we can do to fix this. Is it that you're rushing? Let's talk about it. Are you feeling a certain way about the project? Are you not enjoying the project? And that's why this is happening. Like, I want to make sure that this is a right fit, and I really want to have you on my team. And we gotta find a solution here so that these little things aren't happening, because this can really negatively impact the business. And that's the ultimate goal, is to grow the business, not negatively impact it. So it's by having that conversation from a place of curiosity versus being like, come on, you idiot, like, what are you doing? Like, why aren't you performing? What's wrong with you? Right?
Especially too, 'cause a lot of the virtual assistants, they do more than one project, right?
Yeah.
So they're working for more than just you, they're working for multiple people.
Yeah.
So it could even be the virtual assistant company that's giving them too much of a workload for them to focus on your own. You know?
Yeah.
So it could even be that high of a level of an issue.
Yeah. And so by understanding that, we can then pivot to make the best solution. And we want to step into conscious leadership even further. How do I operate from a place of compassion? Recognizing this guy is just trying to do his best. English is not his first language. He's doing great for English not being his first language. You just see my Spanish is not so great, right? I love you, thank you. So how can we have more compassion for him? Maybe he's had a bad day. Maybe he's exhausted because he's working so many hours trying to just make ends meet. He's got a family to take care of. I don't know the ins and outs of that. Conscious leadership is showing up from that space and recognizing the gaps from where we are to where we could potentially be. So back to above the line. So the awareness around our thoughts, our emotions, our actions, the way we're showing up, taking radical responsibility. Above the line would be deep emotion, deep compassion, empathy, okay? How can we create positive change? How can we truly make a difference? When was the last time when you guys did something nice for somebody else? Just because, for no reason whatsoever. Just because. Can you think of that time?
When you did something nice for somebody?
Just because. Maybe you bought a coffee for a stranger,
Okay.
or, right?
It's
Think
a
of,
feel-good feeling. It's, you feel like you're, especially when there's no attachment to it.
yeah. And how often are you doing these things? Helping a stranger. Maybe it's,
Yeah, this for me is really like nice because especially when you are a traveler, you know, sometimes the strangers are the ones that help you.
Yep.
And it's really important.
Yep.
Especially when you see how much they go out of their way to help you, and they don't even know you.
Yeah.
What are you doing to plant those seeds? Conscious leadership is about thinking outside of yourself. And it is so easy to get so sucked into our own worlds and be our own center. Super easy. Here's what I'll tell you. This is one of the biggest game changers that you can make as a leader, as a human. But my favorite little saying, when in doubt, AKA you're struggling, you're having a bad day, feeling out of balance, off keel, when in doubt, think out.
Pardon?
When in doubt, think out. Outside of yourself. You will feel a shift. Has anyone ever experienced this?
Well, pity in yourself is a low vibration.
Yeah.
So when you start putting that pity and that low self-esteem and woe is me and I'm the victim,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and when we get rid of that, all of a sudden we become empowered, and that's when you become empowered.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that taking the responsibility is the first thing that you can stop becoming a victim, right? But I think like sometimes we attract people to show us things. And then it's like, okay, I need to change this in myself.
Which is even better when you go into the emotion and really change it and
Yeah.
remove it. Then you're not dealing with that more victim mentality or whatever you bring to the table, because sometimes we can know that we're a victim or other people look at us as a victim, but we don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
There's maybe in our background like 20 generations or something,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but it's just becoming aware. But awareness is everything. That's how we break the cycle.
It's remembering.
Reawareness.
Yeah, it's the remembering to remember, right? And ultimately, it becomes a gradual shift. We'll talk about doing this type of stuff. You're going to leave here. It's not going to be like, oh, like I just learned this in this workshop, and now it's like, oh, okay, I got this. It's the remembering to remember and then applying. Another hack here is when you remember to remember and you actually make the shift, the body likes, and we react to two things: pain, pleasure. So if you do something well, like remember to remember, and shift out of one of your patterns that are not serving you, you celebrate yourself. You celebrate yourself. Why? Based on what I just said, why do you celebrate yourself?
You reaffirm that new pattern, that new behavior.
Yeah.
So it brings like some level of joy. And you can remember that next time that you practice that new thing, you'll have a good feeling about it. It'll be something.
It's based on physiology. Your body wants pleasure. You want pleasure. If you are creating pleasure, it's like a little kid who's learning a new task or a new tool, right? You say, oh, good job, honey. You did such a good job. I'm so proud of you. And they're like, yeah, I want to do that again, right? It's the same concept. Yeah, you guys are definitely, I don't know how old you all are. You're not children anymore. But we still all have our inner child in there. And when we speak to that inner child, through celebration, on a physiological level, you start to have a shift in your body.
Yeah, I have a group of friends, and every beginning of the month we do like a call, and we celebrate what we You know, we don't see it.
Yep.
And I think that is like a suggestion if you want to do it as well. It's really nice.
Yeah.
To like catch up with the friends and
Yeah.
celebrate together.
It's powerful. Now let's talk about the other side of this. We talked about above the line. That's all fun.
Now, Michelle.
What about below the line?
Allowing your personal life to seep into your business.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. Yep. That is one for sure. What else?
I'm sorry, it wasn't.
Yeah, what was that
Well,
question?
allowing your personal life to seep into your business.
These are the negative things that we
The
do to
negative.
sabotage our business, is that what you're saying?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's definitely a below the line action.
All right, so you're saying below the line that we
Yeah,
do,
what are-
we don't do.
Yeah, these are the things we want to be able to catch ourselves on when we're not above the line. What are some examples of showing up that are below the line?
Thinking we're better than our employees.
Yeah, definitely.
Ego.
Yep. Ego. How often does the ego come in? Being like, this person doesn't know anything. That guy's an idiot. Ugh, they should change that outfit. Right? What are some other below the lines? Reactive? Anybody reactive in here? We got any reactive
Showing
people here?
emotions off the chart, like anger,
Yeah.
talking about your employees to other employees,
Gossip.
gossip.
Gossip's a big one, right?
For me, it was really challenging as well, like when I had like, because sometimes when you do a training, you think some stuffs are obvious. You assume people know, but I it's not.
Yeah.
So the communication, I think for me, it was like, really like something I still trying to improve.
Yeah. Not communicating below the line. Not being in integrity
Yeah.
below the line.
Giving people tasks that you want to pawn off that they're not ready for. You
Yep.
know, and trying to hand off workloads to people who don't have that ability or don't have that knowledge and power to complete it. Why didn't you finish this?
Yeah.
I gave you this task. They don't have the tool set. They don't have the skills to do it. That's below the line. It's not taking responsibility.
Yep.
It's trying to pawn things off. It's trying to take time off when you need to be doing the work.
Yep. Very well said.
Depression as well, because like I said to my business partner, she
Yeah.
really pressured the girls to sell,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's like, they can't deal with this stress constantly,
Sometimes it's not the client base who's going to buy. You know, that's the thing. You can't expect results to be there when you don't have the right product behind it. You don't have the right audience to be doing what you need. There's no way you can achieve that goal. It's putting yourself in a bad place and putting your employees in a bad place. You can't expect
Yeah.
results from nothing being there. So it's always up and down. Realistic goals, creating realistic goals.
Yep. Yeah. So we have an idea about above the line versus below the line, right? We're going to do a quick little exercise. So everyone's got something to write with, either like a cell phone or a notebook. I want you all to reflect on a time that you have fallen below the line. Okay, so think of a time you fell below the line. And then
Your business fell below the line or just in general?
in your business, but it can be in general too, because as we know, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So, but if you can do business, great. And just take like a minute and a half.
So do you wanted to write examples of things that you've done in the past, or?
Yeah, think about some times that you fell below the line, where you were below the line.
Okay.
Give you some tunes while you write.
This is in the past, right?
Yes. Yep. Just creating some awareness. once you finish, you're going to shift into identifying some strategies you can use to stay above the line. Identify some strategies that will support you in staying above the line.
I'm gonna use all past experiences here.
That's okay. Just in general, what are general strategies you can use?
That would change that situation, gotcha.
So for those examples we wrote, what would be a strategy or no?
Yeah, sure. Mhm. Fifteen more seconds. Okay, pens down. All right. What'd you guys come up with?
Both sides or?
Whatever you feel called to share.
Well, I put trained and provided too much information, like, in my trainings, I say too much
Mm.
and expect in that one training session for it all to be consumed or like, understood.
Yeah.
And, I could have better training manuals. I could
Mm.
better, I mean, I don't have the videos yet, but like, being in practice of those things will allow me to have, tools that I can go towards and lean on. It's like, hey, like maybe I may not be in the full capacity that day too, and so having good training manuals or, PowerPoints or things that are, because the ones I have are just so, like, so much information, and sometimes I expect, because they're engineers or because they're, they're smart, but they don't really know stuff. And so, I,
What do
I
you work with? Sorry.
just in general, but like, but in this particular example, because I know that once I get into a habit of creating better training manuals or videos, I can do that for when I create my own company, right?
Mhm.
So like,
Yeah.
once I do this for the software company I work for, and I basically onboard and show them how to use this tech product.
Mm.
And so, if I could do that better, I know that when I create my own platform, I'm gonna be so good from the beginning, being like, this is just as much information as you need right now.
Yeah.
And
So
then,
that's-
you know what I mean?
I like that because I worked for a software or a tech, like a financial technologies company, whatever, in the sales department, and the problem was that they would bombard us with 7 hours of this whole Zoom every single day, right?
I can't imagine.
And went on for I think a week and a half, the training, and it was kind of skipping back and forth. No, give us the gist of it in the beginning, then move forward, then do it by building upon the process, not just
Right.
let's all cram it into 1 week and let's do it.
Right.
Let the sales team get in the floor, let them practice, let them get out, let
Right,
them do some
experiential
things.
too, even
Yeah,
some of that
you
kind
need
of stuff.
that.
Right.
Let them get some experience first, then throw it on so they know why.
Yeah.
Because that's the biggest learning curve, is actually being out there and doing it. After a
Right.
few hours of it, everyone's just like, when does this end? Where's my pizza?
Right.
Kind of thing.
Right.
So yeah, I agree with that.
And I have like the job of training the trainer. Like, I never do like he or she feels confident to go out there and now train their entire team and then roll out another department and another, because that's really how our software works, is it goes from department to department and then it expands and then they can't leave us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
like
yeah.
now everyone's using the platform.
Yeah.
So, but how do you roll that out if they don't even, if they just feel totally intimidated by like using it? So anyway, so
That's a great one. And one of the things I heard you mention when you were sharing was there was a expectation for the people taking the training. That expectation is above or below?
that expectation for them to consume the training,
Yeah.
I think is below. Like it's just, like I don't know. You know what I mean? I really don't know. I have no idea like how I'm coming off or like, yeah, like I just assume that because I know everything that you're,
Already.
that that's just gonna
Yeah, because you already know it. You're like, how can you figure that out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
so many times that I'm so lost in like knowing that I know. you
Yeah.
know? So it's like, and I try to have that chipper attitude about it, like, hey, you know, but honestly, what served me the best though over time is having that 80-20 rule where I really understand how do you want to use the platform.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, I don't need to show you all that stuff. Like it's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
unnecessary to show you this part or that part. You just need to know this part and very well. So, but I am not always available to give them that. So it would be nice to be like, here, have this video as a follow up. You know,
Yeah.
like it'd be nice. So I really need to step up on that.
Get to step up on that.
I get to step up for sure.
Yeah. Anybody else want to share? We could take one more share. Gabby!
So one thing that I struggled with, especially moving here, was in hospitality. I expected things to run in a way it was going to do in New York or Miami or Los Angeles and things like that. You know, I had to do a lot of learning.
Mexico, no?
Yeah,
Your hospitality is obsolete as far
I
as I'm
know.
concerned.
I came in and I had started like a high-end experience, and I wanted this, and you know, and I'm gonna get the 20-passenger Mercedes van, and I'm gonna get Mads Nelson chef, and I'm gonna do all these things, and it didn't really work, you know, because behind that, creating the sales for it, you know, I went to the best hotels, I met their concierges, I met the person above, I met the person below. That doesn't matter, you know. And, you know, if you were in Miami doing something like this, you'd be like, okay, yeah, I go here. Okay, what's your percentage? How much money can I make? Okay, let's sell it. Let's do that. Blah blah blah. We went on the experience. We want to do it. Here, the problem is the concierges change every week,
Yeah.
and they've never even done concierge work before. They don't know anything. The hotel concierges, they don't know anything.
Yeah.
They've been here for 2 months. You
Yeah.
know? So I set the expectations too high.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't see it for myself. That's why now I'm doing the concierge work, because I realized that that sales team doesn't really exist here that I would see in other markets.
Yeah.
Didn't matter how much I loved what I created, didn't matter what people said about it. If you don't get that other step first to get the people to go there, it means nothing. You're
Yeah.
just
Do
throwing
you
money
feel
down
like
the
you're
well.
the example? Like now, like as a concierge, do you feel like you can be the example?
I mean, I struggle with a lot of things. I mean, you know, I went through a big, when I did the experience, you know, I was firing mixologists before they even started, you know. You know, it didn't matter what I paid them, that was the problem. But now one thing, you know, we struggle with transportation is a really big thing, you know, and you gotta simplify it, don't do too many bells and whistles, and you gotta go through a lot of different avenues with that.
Yeah.
I think I found somebody good now. We'll see, obviously, but keeping expectations aren't realistic, you know, and that's the thing, and getting frustrated over that. you
Yeah.
know, and also not knowing when to call it quits.
Yeah. Yes.
And
Yep.
that pivot is a big thing.
That pivot is everything.
Yeah, I lost a lot of money without pivoting, you know, and
Yep.
then it took me to a place of, okay, it's not working, go to something that is, tweak it back to something that you know, but it's in around the same genre of what I know,
Yep.
but just pivot from that exact thing.
Yeah.
Because if it's not working, you can't keep beating up, you know.
That pivot is everything. Like you nailed it. It's not a hey, I'm giving up.
What is that? Sorry, pivot.
Pivot, like a
Change.
Pa-
Okay.
Yeah.
pivot. It's not a, hey, I'm giving up.
It
But-
just changed the roads.
Change direction.
Yeah, yeah,
That can make or break your business.
yeah.
The tricky part is knowing when, right? One of the things you mentioned was obviously having lower, like not being so attached to your expectation,
Yeah.
but also the other piece to that when it comes to conscious leadership is managing that emotion. Not an easy thing. Simple, not easy. And possible. Emotions last on average how long?
Depends.
No,
Depends how long you can take it.
but it changes a certain amount of hours in your day in negative, angry thought. We just saw something on that recently, that it can last hours into your day. Like, okay, you're angry now. You think it doesn't matter, but it's actually living through your day,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Coming out in your aura.
Yeah. Something with the endorphins or something.
And even if you don't even recognize it, you might just push it down and not even feel it at all. So it's still there somewhere, lingering.
Emotions, based on science, last on average 90 seconds. So why is it that we can have feelings that last for hours over that emotion?
Well, Joe Dispenza always say, where you put your focus is where you put your energy.
Oh yeah, where attention goes, energy grows.
Yeah, so
You're-
if you don't let it go, you're gonna be feeling that like, ugh.
It's feeding the monster.
Yeah.
It's feeding the monster. And what feeds the monster? The thoughts. Those thoughts. They're like, here, have a cupcake,
Thoughts
have
create
some
emotions.
candy.
The thoughts create the emotions.
The thoughts create the emotions and propel it, and they can put you in a thought feeling loop.
Over that one thing. Is that still my question?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how do you kill a, how do you, this is so not Tulum, but we're going to say it anyway. How do you kill a monster? Or when do you want to kill a monster?
First, you don't
Before it
let it build up, and don't let it grow.
Yeah, you want to kill that thing when it's a baby. I don't want to kill a monster when it's big,
Yeah.
right? So it comes back to that awareness, conscious leadership, stepping into the awareness to catch it before it grows. Simple, not easy, and possible.
But you know, for me, like when I assumed this position of the leader,
Mm-hmm.
I had to deal with the shadows, and then with so much shit in like my childhood. Like I said about my mom, you know, being a general, dictating. So you know, so like for me, sometimes it's not the situation, it's not the emotion in the present, but that gives like a trigger for that thing from the past. You know. So my process of healing is really trying to get like, where is this coming from? Is really from this girl doing this, or is something else? You
Is it
know?
what with the girl doing this?
Yeah, like for the girl like working and doing something, or it's from something else.
Gotcha.
She's
Yeah.
just triggering it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with her.
Exactly.
No, anything we ever get triggered about never has anything to do with whatever the trigger is. They're just a mirror. They're the reflection. They're showing us a reflection back at something way deeper.
The issue's never the issue.
Never.
The issues of the issue.
You know that
Never the
Too
issue.
broad. That's too.
But it's true though. I mean, yeah.
I'm pointing my finger.
The issue's
Has anyone ever seen this? Pointing my finger. How many fingers are pointing back? Right? So we want to talk about managing the emotion, right? Because that emotion can really knock us off our game, right? When we're in the emotion, we're not in our logical mind. We're not able to make strong decisions. We're not able to show up in our best version. So we want to catch that monster before it becomes a big monster. So what are some tools that you can literally leave with today to catch that monster so that you can show up as your best self, as your best leader? What are some tools?
Be aware, though, that's the whole thing.
Awareness, definitely. That's a big one. Yes. What else?
being aware of your weaknesses so you can work on them.
Yeah, catching the
Knowing that this is a weakness and becoming very aware of it.
Yeah.
Catching it, and it's like you said, it's baby stage.
blind spots.
I didn't understand the
the weakness, the thing that you, like, I easily explode in my emotions. When somebody makes me mad, I get angry. That's an emotion, so I know I can do that, so let's tap into it as soon as I start feeling angry. I just breathe and let it pass. It's only gonna be around for 90 seconds.
You just said a big one. To change your state, write this down. To change your state, change your physiology.
To breathe.
Breath.
Gives you time to just calm down and get out of that emotion.
That breath is everything. It will calm your nervous system down. You see smokers, they're stressed out. They got to run out for a cigarette. It's not, I mean, they do have probably an addiction to cigarettes, and they're breathing. So it helps them calm down. It's not the cigarette, it's the breath. So you utilize the breath to help you change your state, to come back to your center, to come back into that powerful way and state of being. Simple. It sounds so it's stupidly annoying that it's that simple, right? You're telling me I just have to breathe? Like what?
But I think like when you stop and breathe and you take a moment as well, like you're not gonna react,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so then you are like,
Yeah, you give a minute
Okay.
for thought as well. Also a minute for thought, yeah.
Yeah.
You're also in a neutral state.
Hmm?
You're also in a neutral state, so you're neither happy nor sad or angry. You're just right in the middle when you're able to breathe. It's just somehow it brings you to like this state of, hey, no expectations. If it goes well, if it doesn't go well, you're gonna be fine. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's still gonna be okay.
Yeah, it's a trusting space. Yeah, I love that. What else?
Reflecting.
Sure, tell me more about reflecting.
I guess it kind of combines all of them, doesn't it? It's like, I mean, for me, like you reflect to become aware.
Yeah. You reflect to become aware. Do you reflect in the moment? Do you reflect before? Do you reflect after? When?
I reflect after.
Yeah. Because again, hey, we talked about it. We've got blind spots.
Yeah.
When do they show up? Usually when you're pissed off, right? So sitting there and saying, okay, like that happened.
Yeah.
What just happened there? What came up for me? What was the trigger? Why was I triggered by that?
There's a saying, a friend of mine worked in PR for a long time. They always say PR, not ER. You know?
PR, not ER.
You work in public relations, not the emergency room.
Ah, oh, I like that.
So you need to sit back and reflect, okay, how big of a deal is this? You know, no one's life is at risk in your business for the most part. you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, whatever's going on is not that big of a deal. Okay, it happened, how do I make a solution?
Yeah.
You know, you're not rushing around putting together arteries.
Yeah.
So
I'm
it's
reading a
yeah.
book that exactly talk about this part. It's
Yeah.
the power of now.
Mm.
That's
a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
And I've got a really weird voice. If you order with it.
That reflection is everything. So recently, I had an experience where I was feeling some emotions come up. Like I was feeling hurt. I knew logically it didn't make sense, but I was feeling bothered, okay? Basically, I have a friend. I'll give you some context. I have a friend, and I was feeling, this is going to sound very juvenile, right? But this is me being truly connected and aware of all of the emotions. And this wasn't a big major blowout emotion. This was a low-level vibration emotion. Have you had those where you feel you're kind of off, something's kind of bothering you, but it's not so big that you have like a deep awareness of it? Are you following me so far? So I have a friend, two friends, and they met through me, and I was just feeling like they're hanging out all the time, and I'm not invited.
Yeah.
But I was like feeling like a little like, and I was like, why am I feeling like what is this feeling? Because I'm feeling not my highest vibration. So I journaled about it. What is coming up for me? And I sat there and I said, okay, I'm feeling left out. But I'm choosing not to go and do all of the things that they're doing, and I'm invited.
Yeah.
So what's actually happening here? What is this triggering? Oh, this is triggering the I'm not enough story. I am enough, but guess what? I have my I'm not enough lenses on because I've been conditioned since I was a child to feel like I'm not enough based on my story, based on my history. And my emotional home, I mentioned it earlier, is I'm not enough. So oftentimes I will take situations, this is my pattern, being vulnerable. I will take situations that have nothing to do with me not being enough and make them about me not being enough because it is my natural state, my emotional home, to rubber band back to I'm not enough. Do you see the pattern there? That took some deep digging to kind of see that. We all have those. And it's having the emotional intelligence and the awareness through reflection to be able to actually start to see it. And now, because I took that time to reflect, I can go through all of my situations when I have that bubbling up, and I'm starting to see it a lot now. I'm like, oh, I see it there. And then I remind myself, okay, wait a minute. I'm making this mean something, because we like to give meaning to everything. Humans are meaning-making machines. I'm giving meaning to something based on something that it actually doesn't mean that at all. And this is how we can get hung up in those emotions. This is how we step below the line. How do we step above the line? We catch it and we shift with a new empowering thought. My empowering thought in that situation is, I'm actually way enough. I'm choosing not to go. I'm invited. And it's reminding myself of that so that I can get out of the pattern. What impact do you think it would make in your lives if you started operating from this space of awareness and catching yourself in shifting? What would be possible?
That would be endless for so many things.
Yeah. Could be really, really transformative.
I think another thing though too is also getting rid of certain people in your life though.
Hallelujah.
Huge.
Oh my gosh.
So big.
And that's the strongest thing. It's realizing that, I hate to say it doesn't serve you, it doesn't suit you, but you either move past it or it's something that holds you back, right? And a lot of the time we can place blame on someone else is holding us back. It's their fault for something, you know. But you have to come to the real thing. Are they really holding me back, or am I choosing to scapegoat them as well? Because people can get lost in that as well.
Or you
This
can
person's
just
the
blame
negative.
them. as
That's what I'm
well,
saying. Yeah, the scapegoat. You know,
Yeah.
Like, oh, they're the person holding me back. I'm gonna get rid of them. Then your life is still the same.
Yeah.
You know. So
Yeah.
it's a fine line of doing that, but it's huge. Taking suggestions from people, which I've done this recently, and I wish I didn't do it because I like to do my own research with all vendors and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's gonna pan out, but we'll say it like this: I hired a private chef to lead the mixology thing for an event I'm doing next week. And I didn't vet my own mixologists. I let a friend do it, who I know doesn't even know that much about hospitality, you know,
Yeah.
and doesn't have the same level of expectation that I hold. And you know, now I'm putting my faith in something unseen. You know, that's it's drinks at a private event. I mean, that matters. You know, so just not allowing other people to step inside the shoes that I should be feeling. You know,
Yeah.
the whole taking responsibility,
Yeah.
but also taking the responsibility if it does mess up. That's also your fault because you took this from someone else. You know, you didn't do that extra work. And I've been using that person as a resource too much when I need to just realize that they're not capable of feeling what I need.
Yeah.
You know,
Be really mindful of your language.
in what sense?
You said fault. It's your fault.
It's my fault. Yeah. No.
That has an energy of blame.
Okay.
And you have very high expectations, which is really powerful. And this is going to help you excel so far in life.
Thank you.
That's what winners have, right?
Yeah.
It's also a double-edged sword
Yeah.
because you probably are really hard on yourself because you hold
Yeah.
yourself to really high expectations.
Well, the one thing is that I also believe that other people have the same expectation that I have, and that's a very big negative. You know, if they tell me this guy made amazing cocktails and he did all this stuff, you know, I look at the list of what he's given me so far, and I'm like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
You know, I need to also be realistic for what the client really wants.
Yeah.
You know, because I've done a little bit of making this my event. You
Yeah.
know? They wanted to do something simple. I kept the price points correct for them and really good, but at the same time too, I elevated it too much. Is the drink thing, am I elevating it too much? I have to think that way as well.
Yeah.
You know, what am I doing? Is it too much? Is that kid actually good enough, or am I trying to do too much with it?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So how you
So mark
replace the
expectations.
fault world, like you said.
So it's not saying, oh, this person's at fault, I'm at fault, they're at fault, they're to blame. Blame, fault, same category. It's responsibility.
Okay.
Yeah.
I take responsibility for that. And it sounds very minor. It's such a small detail. You know this, though, as a fellow overachiever. It's all in the details.
Yeah.
It is all in the details, up into the very specific words that we're using, right? I need to versus I get to. Big one,
Right.
Yeah.
right? You don't need to do anything. That comes from a place of obligation. That takes the joy, the excitement out of it. That's another aspect of conscious leadership. Ways of being. How are you being? Right? And that will reflect into how you experience it because of the weight that words carry. But versus and. Have you heard this one yet?
I've not heard that.
Take out but, not the booty but the word, and replace it with and. Changes the entire way you communicate.
So can you just use it as an example?
Yeah.
Sometimes it is a but
But is passive and kind of taken away from the responsibility, and then
Yeah,
and is making it more direct. But
Here's an example. You did a really good job, but you did a really good job, and feel the energy shift there?
Yeah.
But finish the sentence. So it's-
Okay.
it
You did a
doesn't-
really
yeah.
good job, but you did a really good job, but but there was some errors. It completely negates the first part of it.
Definitely, yeah.
You did a really good job, and
There was some errors.
there were some errors. Complete energy shift. People will receive that differently. These are the little tweaks that we can operate from a place of conscious leadership that will support us in creating an environment around us that's positive and where you're going to create more impact in the places that you're operating. Okay? All right, so we're getting short on time. I'm a little bit over, so I'm going to wrap shortly. I just want to share with you a couple more ways to shift. Pay attention to your body. I'm working on this. This was a tough one for me. I'm like, I sleep like this. Like I'm always like this. And I'm like, come on, Allie, you got this, girl. And I can feel a difference. Everybody stand up, right?
oh, it's big.
It's crazy.
I
All
tell
right.
the girls all the time, stick them boobies out. Stick them shoulders back.
It is for me.
Come on, Kyle, stick those boobies out. All right, so do this. Roll your shoulders. Like notice the feeling, right? Like,
You have weight.
it's like,
kind of-
yeah. Versus pulling those shoulders back and keeping,
And
I
putting
used
those
to that.
shoulder blades down in those pockets, you feel them connecting to that, you feel them drop.
yeah. And then there's a little tiny shift, and it's 2 millimeters. It's tiny. It's here versus here, here versus here.
Yeah. A little taller.
A little bit taller. Why do you think this matters? Why am I sharing this?
I think
Confidence.
because, yeah, the confidence, when you are like this, you're like, not like, you don't give like credibility
Yeah.
kind of thing. No?
Yeah. Yeah. That's for the outside people. Yeah, for sure.
Also, interestingly enough, it really does open up your heart.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, it could be a very
You're blocking the heart, you're covering it.
Yeah. Yep. What else? Why else? What do you think? Why am I having you?
I done some like breath work the other time, and I don't know how or why, but here
Mm-hmm.
because he touched some parts, but here was so painful. I don't know. Is something linked?
I don't know. Change your physiology, change your life. There's an energetic shift. I don't know if you can feel it when you're here versus here. Can you feel that at all? Like when I'm here, I'm feeling more confidence. I'm feeling stronger. I'm feeling more empowered. I have a different type of energy, and I know that sounds crazy because it's just 2 millimeters, right? There's another level of confidence I feel when I have my body in this position. Can you guys feel it? Yes or no? Be honest. Can you feel it at all? Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
And 2 millimeters, you would think that that's not a big deal. But what's the difference between boiling and not boiling?
2 degrees. 1 degree.
1 degree. What's the difference between getting it on the golf? I don't golf, but the green, near the hole, or not near the hole?
Yeah.
Could be like 2 millimeters is the difference between winning and not winning.
Yeah.
So pay attention to these little details. These are the ways that we can show up to change our life, to change our organizations, to change the relationships, to change our experience. Okay, you can have a seat. Last but not least, I just want to share final takeaways. So anything that you have heard today, I had some more for you, but I'm going to be respectful of the time. Takeaways from today that you plan on utilizing, not tomorrow, but as soon as you walk out that door. Now.
Not to action.
What'd you say?
To put into action.
To put into action. Yep.
To take the breath.
The breath.
The breath is very important for me.
Yep.
I need to take the breath sometimes.
The-
More times than I admit to.
Yeah.
So that's really important for me.
Yeah.
To sit back and go, okay, solution time.
Yep.
You know.
Creating that shift.
Yeah. The way that you operate, you're gonna get it done.
Yeah.
Like you are gonna get it done.
Yeah.
And through the breath, through that pause, your experience while you're getting to the result is going to be so much more pleasant.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. It's about when you have your own business, it is really your life.
It's your baby.
To be or not, it's your life. You know?
Yeah.
But it's all about how do you want to be living this life.
Yeah.
You know, so the breath is important.
Yeah.
Realizing, hey, it's not that drastic. That person might be an idiot, but you don't have to tell them they're an idiot.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And realizing that there's always another day, there's always something to do, there's always another client, there's always that next time. It's not the end of your business. Every mistake that makes is made.
Yeah.
So the breath is important.
The breath is important. That breath allows us to step back into life's still beautiful. Even if this guy's an idiot and I have to deal with him, life is still beautiful.
Yeah,
I don't want to give my power away
Don't
to
let people
anybody
get away.
else. I'm keeping my power. All right, Gabby, takeaways.
I think the awareness and reflecting thing.
Yeah.
In my old job, we were like almost forced to do it because we had like one-to-ones
Mm.
and like keeping myself to that standard.
Beautiful.
Well, for me, it's like really don't operate from reaction, and try my best to look to things from a place of respect and empowering, and trying to my best to communicate better.
Beautiful. And what happens when you fall back into your emotional home? Because that will happen. It's not if, it's when, because it's a process. Then what?
Well, for me, I do meditation,
Mhm.
a lot. So if somebody send me a message and I need to take an action, I don't straight away go for it. I calm down and then I go.
Yep.
So then I don't respond in a reaction way,
Mhm.
sort of thing.
Beautiful.
definitely being aware of my inner triggers and knowing what it is that is a weakness that causes me to be weak, and just being aware of that and just doing the work in here. Because when we're doing that work in here, we just come out, it's just flow. We get into more of a flow instead of those triggers. We're flowing and things just better. We work from inside. It becomes easier. So being aware of the inner work, and being aware of the triggers, and being aware that there's always a shift to be made.
Yeah. This is a lifelong game. Like, you don't get to just come to one conscious leadership workshop and be healed. Like, it just doesn't work that way. It's a commitment. It's a constant nurturing. The same way we nurture our businesses and grow our businesses, the same way we need to nurture and grow ourselves and our emotional intelligence and our awareness around this stuff. And again, like I said at the beginning of this is not rocket science. This is not brand new. But you know what? Where attention goes, energy grows. So guess what? Guess who's going to be a little bit more mindful, even if it's just 1 degree, one tiny little shift.
Baby steps.
It's baby steps, and it's continuing to plant those seeds as we continue to develop and create these habits. It's a process. And if you take it a step even further, how can you start to fall in love with the process?
Well, it actually did trigger me earlier on when you said, when was the last time you did something? And I know that we do stuff like, we've done the service that we're doing, but like how often do I just take small moments? Because I don't know if I even know how to do like, I guess for me, putting money in, whereas like, when was the last time I did something nice without like money? I mean, I did something nice the other day in terms of just doing something with my friends, like this vision board thing that we do. But I guess it just, in terms of every day, I don't know. I have to think about that a lot more. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I do of service in tiny ways that you can see.
Yeah.
Kind of do these big strokes, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes. And I
Yeah.
don't know how much that's taken in the same way. Or if I do, I need to like look at them and appreciate that I did do that, right? Because I do so much giving that I just don't know all the time. So
Yeah.
that's one thing that I like. And then also the kill the monster thing. I like that. Kill the, like just really be able to nip things in the bud in terms of thought processes that attach to emotions that you could just, like, why do I let it bug me so much?
Yeah.
If you're letting it bug you so much, that's one thing I've learned. When something in another person's bothering you, they're really just mirroring. If they weren't mirroring back to you, that's mirroring. You're seeing something in yourself. And sometimes that's a real hard inner one to do, because you're really detesting that in that other person. But if you really went deep, you do the same doggone thing at the end of the day.
Yeah. That's a hard pill to swallow sometimes.
That's a hard pill to swallow.
Yep. Very good reflection. It's got some good things to think about. You're welcome. Arturo.
For me also, I think the part of breathing and not getting frustrated right away because people, are not doing what as per my expectations, or I'm always thinking like, because I know how to do it, I know exactly what to do, I know the details, I know everything, and when they don't deliver, for me it's like right away, it's like, fuck,
Yeah.
it's like,
I think the big
for
problem.
me it's very obvious,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking that for everyone, for anyone, it's very obvious, and it gets frustrates me automatically, like right away, and I'm like, I need that, I need to stop, because I know I'm very, I can be very reactive right away, I can go just ballistic immediately,
No,
but I know that already, I know myself already in that sense, so I mean, it's still difficult, but I try to, just like, okay, never mind, I'm gonna try to, like talk to the person, and, as you're too much job, it's because it's too busy, it's because they don't have the training, it's because whatever, you know, but I don't stop and think all of that. I'm just like, you know, it's like automatic.
Yep. Yep.
I can help you with that.
I think a big thing is that, you know, having a lot of experience in your own business, you know, me having experience in mine, you having experience in yours, and everyone who has experience in their own business, because we have such an experience and it's such ingrained in us, you know, we don't get to take it from the level of someone who didn't have any experience. So like saying that going and thinking about someone else, go back to when you actually didn't know anything. You know, and it's hard to do that when you're in it for so long. But what are the questions I had when I first started doing it, right? What, you know, what are these things? What are these things that I've already messed up
Yeah.
that I can see? Wait a minute. And you know, half the time, someone tells you that they have all this experience, they really don't have that much at all.
Yeah.
You know, they've kind of been roundabout and maybe what they wrote down on a resume or what they've explained to you and you believed in it, but they don't really have that. And when it comes to the job, you're going to quickly realize that they don't. You know, but also it's down to us again, responsibility, that we didn't go into that that depth of it, or maybe this kind of employee that you're looking for doesn't actually exist here. You know, which I've found. So then we have to go back to the big molding stage and really just sit by them. But it's hard when you have so many other things you need to do. But you have to do it by, wait a minute, how important is this key element? You know? And I think that it's the double-edged sword of having experience and working with the inexperienced people.
Very well said.
Being a leader, that's why you're a leader though. So it's the double-edged sword. I mean, it's,
Part of the
you can't really
duty.
get out of it, you know?
So, I hope you guys got some value out of this.
Thank you, definitely.
I highly recommend before you go to bed, just reflect, because you'll lose it. It'll be one ear out the other. So reflect on these couple of things, write them down, put them somewhere you can see it. Maybe it's setting an alarm in your phone daily, something to help you remember, because again, it's repetition. It's the remembering to remember. It's the awareness. It can really make a difference in your life. These small, little details. You start to shift in these details, you start to see a change in your life. You start to see a change in the organization. You start to see a change in the world that you're building, that you're creating for yourself and for the people who are in your organizations. And it starts with you. So I want to honor for you for taking your Wednesday night to choose to come here and learn about this topic, to better yourselves, to make a difference in essentially this world. So thank you. I will be doing these twice a month here at Selena. Different topics. I work with leaders and entrepreneurs, but the next topic, see, the but versus the and the next topic that I will be focusing on, it'll be next week. Basically, I'll be here on the off weeks of Girl Gang on Wednesdays. And the next topic is all going to be for specifically entrepreneurs, and it's all going to be about strategy and mindset in your business. So if that topic interests you, save the date. We'll be here next Wednesday. If you're interested in discussing other ways of working with me as a coach, come talk to me. I'm here. And last but not least, I officially have my hardcover copies of my book.
Good job.
So if anybody would like to buy, they're on sale.
What is this? Is it tips for traveling here?
This is everything you could possibly need to know about Tulum in one little handy guide, and it will by far cover the cost because there's a lot of tips in here on how to save lots of money and to also just stay safe and avoid, getting in trouble and the curveballs that you mentioned earlier that very much do exist here. So 2.5 years of learning from all my own personal mistakes plus all of the women in Girl Gang as I've managed those chats for almost 3 years. So thank you again for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your participation, for your energy that you brought. It meant a lot. And thank you to you for having me here and allowing me to be in this space. Arturo, you are a blessing in my life. And I hope you guys all have a beautiful rest of the night.
You did great. Good job.
Thanks, guys.
Good job.